All right, good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this installment of our COG Aggregation Professional Development webinar series, highlighting the role that COG broker services can play in unlocking consumer revenue. This morning, I'm joined by my colleague, Joel Manton, manager of our broker services team. Joel's team has written nearly 200 consumer loans on behalf of COG brokers year to date, following on from over 280 loans last financial year. In addition, they're also able to assist you with your commercial asset finance and cash flow opportunities too, but I'll let Joel go into that in more detail at the end of his presentation. As always, please ask any questions you have of Joel in the Q&A function found at the top of your Teams app if you're logged in on your laptop, or through the ellipses button if you've logged in on your phone. Now that the housekeeping's done, I'll pass it over to Joel. Take it away, mate.
Thanks, Faisal. Just make sure my screen is being shared.
Looks good to me, mate.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Hi, everyone, and thanks for taking the time to join today. I really appreciate you being here and to take part in this session today. For those who I haven't met, I'm Joel. I manage the broker services team. COG Broker Services is an internal loan processing division exclusively to assist COG aggregation members. And we offer a range of services from commercial loan processing, whether that's a one-off deal to a lender you're not accredited with, or to doing all your loan processing on your behalf so you can focus on your clients. We'll come back to that a little bit later though, because today the focus is on consumer referrals. And today's session is really about sharing a simple framework around how these referrals can work smoothly, how we keep communication clear and protect your relationship with your clients. We try to make it an easy process so it feels like an extension of your own service. And my goal today is just to keep it practical and useful. So by the end of the session, you'll have a clear idea of how we can work together and handle these opportunities to support your clients. And so with that, let's jump in. So on today's agenda, we've got the consumer opportunities in your database, how the consumer referral process works, communication between our team and you as the broker, benefits and revenue opportunities, how to get started with consumer, and the other types of support that COG Broker Services can offer. So COG Broker Services is one team that can help you with a full range of services that can try and make your role as a broker easier. It's run by your aggregator, so you know that you've got the confidence that it's run with your best interests at heart. We fully integrate with COG Connect, but that doesn't mean that if you're not using COG Connect currently that we don't have a solution, because we do. We can help everyone with a tailored solution. But now we'll focus really on the consumer process. So the purpose of this is to give you examples of where you might find opportunities in your existing database. So that could be the friends and families of your existing commercial clients. We can also help you and your clients with a range of solutions, from personal loans, debt consolidations, car loans, boat loans, caravans, jet skis, more or less anything, you name it, we'll have a crack at it. Now we'll hear from Amelia, who's one of our internal consumer brokers that will assist your clients and how we handle the referral process once it comes into us.
Well, Joel, sorry, mate. I think the sound isn't playing on that video, so we may want to try again.
Take two. In the first few hours after.
Perfect. That sounds good now.
So I'm here with Amelia, who's one of our consumer specialists, just to ask a few questions about the process. So Amelia, what happens in the first few hours after receiving a referral?
Look, to us, speed is very important. So the first thing that we do when a referral comes through is acknowledge it straight away with the referring broker. We want them to know it's been received, logged, and it's been actioned. And then from there, we aim to make the first contact with the client within the first hour or so, wherever possible. Early contact sets the tone and it gives the client confidence that they're being looked after. When we introduce ourselves, we explain that we're working alongside their broker as the consumer finance specialist and that we're simply supporting them with this application. During that initial conversation, we'll also set clear expectations with the client around the process. So like what information we'll need, the likely timeframes, and what the next steps look like. That way, both the client and the referring broker feel informed and confident from the outset.
So how do we ensure that the client relationship remains with the referring broker?
So that's something we're very clear about because we understand how important those relationships are. Our role is strictly consumer finance support. We're not there to expand into other areas of the client's financial world, particularly anything commercial. If the conversation moves into that direction, we redirect them straight back to their referring broker. Once the deal settles, we update the broker. From the client's perspective, it feels like their broker has arranged everything and we're simply the specialist who helped make it happen. At the end of the day, our reputation inside the network depends on protecting broker relationships. And that's not just a process for us, it's a principle.
So what does a good referral look like?
Honestly, a good referral is a very simple one. At minimum, all we really need is the client's name and phone number. From there, we can take care of the rest. If possible, a warm intro so they're expecting our call, as it creates immediate trust and makes that first conversation that little bit smoother. A small amount of context is useful as well. For example, letting us know whether it's for a car, caravan, debt consolidation, or another personal asset, and what the client's general goal is. But it doesn't need to be detailed or technical. We'll uncover everything properly as part of our process. Importantly, we don't really want brokers to pre-qualify, structure, or gather documentation. That's our role. So the whole idea is to keep it simple and low effort. If there's an opportunity, send it through, we'll assess it, manage it professionally, and keep you informed along the way.
And how do we keep referrers informed without overwhelming them?
Well, we recognise that every broker operates differently. So the first thing we do is ask their preference. Some brokers like detailed updates about the process, especially if it's a close client relationship. Others are comfortable being notified at key milestones only. So we tailor our communication to suit their style. Generally, we provide updates confirming when contact has been made, when the application is approved, and when the deal has settled. That way, brokers are always aware of the progress without being flooded with unnecessary detail. Importantly, transparency is always available. Even if a broker prefers minimal updates, they can pick up the phone and send a message at any time and we'll provide a clear status update. Our goal is to keep brokers informed, confident, and in control without adding to their workload.
What makes the referral relationship work best in your eyes?
Well, for us, a referral relationship works best when the introduction is clear and professional. Trust in the process is also critical. When we know that brokers understand how we operate and trust us to manage their client with care. Ultimately, the best referral relationships are built on clarity, trust, and ongoing communication. It's really a team effort between the broker, the client, and us.
And what's your commitment to the brokers in our network?
So our commitment is clear. We're here to protect the broker's relationship with their client at every step. That's a non-negotiable for us. The client always remains theirs. We operate with integrity, making sure that the process is transparent, professional, and in line with the broker's reputation. Our speed of service is also a priority. We know that timely communication reflects well on both the broker and us, and it builds client confidence from the first contact. We see ourselves as an extension of the broker's brand. We interact with their client, we're representing them just as much as ourselves, ensuring the experience is seamless and consistent. Ultimately, it's about building a long-term partnership. We want brokers to feel confident referring clients to us, not just once, but repeatedly, knowing we'll handle every referral with the same care and professionalism that their business deserves.
Brilliant. So in summary, we just heard from Amelia about what's happening once we receive your referral and how we handle the client-broker relationship. The speed of service, so we aim to call your client within the first hour of receiving a lead. A warm lead gives us the best chance of conversion. And also setting the expectations of what, so we want the client to know what to expect, how long it might all take, and what sort of documents that they'll need. Also, what a good referral looks like. So we don't need too much, just the contact details and an idea of what the client needs. About the importance that we place on communicating with you as the broker and to keep you informed. And I want to make sure that we're clear on this, that the client belongs to you, the broker. So next, I'll run through the referral process and what's happening in the background with the various steps taken between taking the app with the client and settling the transaction, and ultimately making sure that your share of brokerage is paid. Now, on brokerage, that will vary from deal to deal, but on average, we see it's around about $900 per deal. So as we can see, the consumer referral process is pretty straightforward. We get some basic details either via email or uploaded to our portal. We'll aim to contact the client within the first hour of the referral, unless there's another suggested time that suits better. From there, the process is much like a commercial application. We'll take the application, submit it to a lender, get the approval, complete docs and settlements. And with consumer apps, sometimes this can be really quick. So we'll guide your client through the process end to end. It's also worth mentioning that your client's data is held securely within our COG Connect system. That's built on a robust cybersecurity framework, and it's identified that it's your client in case they return to us in the future. And now we'll have a look at the broker experience. So we'll hear from one of our brokers within the COG network, Glenn Mellis of Links Finance. He spoke to Jonathan, one of our internal consumer brokers, about how consumer referrals has worked in his business.
So, Glenn, how does the consumer referral process go?
Yeah, it's generally very simple. All we need to do is send the team the client's name and phone number. They take it from there. They manage the entire process directly with our customer, from initial contact through to approval and settlement. What I really value is the relationship always remains ours. The client sees it as an extension of our service offering, not a handover to someone else. It feels seamless and professional.
Before you started referring consumer referrals to us, how were you handling them?
Yes, I didn't have the capacity to handle consumer loans myself, so I was turning away a lot of inquiries. Many of those inquiries were coming from friends and family members of my larger commercial clients. You want to be able to say yes to your best clients and their families. Referring the client to the COG team has allowed me to do that without stretching my business.
So what hesitations did you have referring your clients to us?
Okay, my biggest hesitation was protecting the client relationship. When you've built a strong commercial relationship over the years, you don't want to risk that by introducing another broker. That's why this model works so well. The boundaries are very clear, the client remains ours, and the process reinforces that. Over time, I've realised that the referral actually strengthens the relationship rather than jeopardising it.
Tell us about the first consumer referral to us.
Yes, the first deal I referred was actually my nephew. He was buying his first car. Normally, I wouldn't have been able to assist, but I introduced him to the COG team. They handled everything professionally and efficiently, and he was absolutely thrilled with the experience. It reflected really well on me because from the client's perspective, I had provided the solution.
So be honest, did you feel like your client relationship was at risk?
That was my initial concern, but it hasn't been my experience at all. The process is structured in a way that protects our client ownership. Once the deal settles, any follow-ups or broader relationship conversations remain with me. It's very clear that they're supporting my client, not replacing me.
Okay, so we heard from Glenn about how the process works from the broker's side and also how he felt over the course of referring to COG. He also highlighted some of his initial concerns, and that although the client relationship was something he was worried about at the start, it's not been an issue for him. He can see the benefit of using the COG consumer team and as an extension of his own offering to his clients. We'll check back in with Glenn now on what benefits consumer referrals has delivered to him and his business.
So, Glenn, has referring consumer deals changed your revenue or business in any way?
Yes, it has created an additional income stream. The 50-50 split is very fair considering the minimal input required from my side. It's revenue that previously I would have declined entirely.
How has referring business to COG Broker Services changed your business?
Beyond the additional income, the real benefit has been client retention. Being able to assist with personal finance needs, especially for family members, keeps my major clients very happy. It positions me as their long-term finance partner rather than just their commercial broker.
What would you say to brokers in the network that are still unsure?
I'd say there's generally very little downside, even if you have the capacity to handle consumer deals internally. The speed and accuracy of a specialist team is hard to match. The COG team focus exclusively on consumer lending, which means better outcomes for clients and less pressure on your own resources. It's a smart way to expand your service offering without expanding your workload.
With this type of support, would you actively consider marketing this to your clients?
Yes, absolutely. Now that I've seen how well it works, I'm much more proactive in identifying opportunities. It's an easy value-add conversation to have with clients, and it strengthens the overall relationship.
Okay, so some benefits of offering a consumer solution include client retention. So don't let your best clients find another broker for their consumer needs. Now we see this happening quite a bit. Also, an opportunity to diversify your income stream. So we've all seen some impact on business over the last year or two. Adding another few settlements here and there can make a real difference to the success of your own businesses. You can earn income passively. So once you've sent us the lead, your job's done, and we'll take care of the rest. So it's simple, it won't take up much of your time, and it gives you more marketing opportunities for your clients. Look, a lot of these opportunities already exist within your existing database. Just by knowing how to find them and how to provide them with a solution means the same clients will equal more settlements and a fuller pipeline. The brokers that we're already working with don't refer clients to us because we're complicated. Like Glenn, they may have had hesitations at the start, but now they keep using us because we're easy to deal with and we can help add value to their business. So how do I get started? So it's really simple. As Amelia said a little bit earlier, all we need is a name, email address, and phone number, and you can start to dip your toe into the consumer pool without any of the regulatory headaches. I've got a QR code here on screen. So if you scan the QR code, you can bookmark the COG consumer referral portal. And then when you get your next opportunity, you know exactly where to send it. I've also got our email address down the bottom in case you prefer to use that. I'll give you a few more seconds just so you can scan that if you like, but in case you miss this, it'll also go up on Broker Central afterwards so you can gain access to it again later. So as well as the consumer referral that COG Broker Services offers, we can also help you with any other general loan processing and support functions for your commercial deals. Whether you need to use us to gain access to a specific lender that you don't hold an accreditation to, or if you want us to handle the whole loan process for you so you can spend time focusing on your clients, there's a solution that we can offer for all steps of a transaction. Our experienced team can help you finding the right solutions that your clients need. We've got experience across dozens of lenders' systems to help you navigate through transactions and streamline the process. Between us, we've got close to 100 years of experience in the broker services team. So, we can help you navigate through a whole range of different loan scenarios. A lot of people don't realize it, but we can also assist with leave coverage. Before you know it, it'll be July and you'll all be booking trips off to Europe. So why not lean on our team to keep things moving in your absence? Or if you're not sure where to start with a cash flow lend, our team can also help you there by finding a right lender and processing that transaction for you as well. So there's many different ways that the COG Broker Services team can help you scale up. If you want to understand them a little bit better, please feel free to contact me after this. I'm happy to run through it with you. Now I've got more QR codes than a cafe during COVID today. So another one here on the screen. This QR code now, if you'd like to register for some consumer focused marketing materials that you can plug into your existing database, you can also reach out to myself or one of your dedicated COG or NFC BDMs. Again, I'll leave this up on the screen just for a few seconds longer if you want to scan the QR code. But with that pretty much wraps up the consumer referral process with COG Broker Services. I hope it's been some use to people on the call today. I guess the key takeaway from the session is that when consumer opportunities do come up in your network, that you don't have to handle them alone. The goal from our side is to provide you with an easy process to help you protect your client relationships and act as an extension of your own service offering. So if you've got any consumer leads or opportunities that come up, please do reach out. But thanks again for being part of the session today. I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you in the future. But now back to Faisal. I think we've got a few minutes left. So if there's any questions that have come through on the chat, please send them through now.
Yeah, spot on, Joel. Thank you, mate. Fantastic to hear about how you and the team can support our network, particularly with these consumer opportunities that are maybe being left by the wayside. I, for one, know that my emails, particularly my Gmail personal account, gets bombarded with banks offering me personal loan products and other ways for them to get my money, bypassing the broker network completely. So if you are a broker at the moment who's not leveraging your database, and seeking the consumer opportunities because you think it's just a bit too hard for you to transact in the space, that's what our team's here to do, to support you with that. And again, get some additional income and revenue streams coming into your business. So we've got a question at the moment lodged by Chris. Thank you for the question, Chris. He's just inquiring, Joel, as to how is he supposed to explain to his clients who's going to call them from the COG team when it is a consumer referral deal.
Yeah, so a lot of brokers will say, hey, I've got Johnny who I work with, or who deals with my consumer inquiries. He'll give you a call shortly and run through it with you. So you can sort of give them an introduction, or you can sort of say some from the consumer team will give you a call. That's sort of generally what we find works best. And if it's a warm sort of intro like that, then they're more likely to pick up the phone and be comfortable from the outset.
Awesome. And my understanding is that the team will just refer to themselves as working at COG. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, correct.
Beautiful. Hopefully that clears that up for you, Chris. Joel, the questions that I've gotten from brokers along the way are around the type of assets that can be funded under a consumer loan. Have you got any examples of some interesting things that the team have been able to finance under a consumer loan?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we do a lot of the standard cars and stuff like that, but probably some of the more interesting ones. I think we've done a plane not so long ago, boats, I think a tractor as well. So there's quite a range of different things that we can sort of get done in the consumer world. So yeah, as I said before, if you've got something, even if you're not sure if it will fit somewhere, give us a go, and I'm sure we'll have a solution for you.
Yeah, beautiful. Another question from Paul that's come in, I think it's along the same lines as the one from Chris. He's just asking as to how that he should tell his clients that COG will contact them. Paul, I think we just addressed it. Again, if you introduce to your client the fact that either Johnny or Amelia will give them a call, you can mention they're from COG, and that's how the team will introduce themselves to your clients. So it'll keep it fairly simple and consistent there. Joel, another question I've got for you is basically, as a broker, like, what do you think the best approach is from their point of view in terms of why they should be leveraging the consumer opportunities? Like, what is their interest in doing it as opposed to just generating additional revenue, possibly? But what else do you think that you can offer in that respect?
Well, I think the best part is, and the way to sort of frame it would be, it gives your clients a complete solution. So obviously a lot of your clients might come to you for their commercial needs, but like I said before, you don't necessarily want to turn them away and send them to another consumer broker. We don't want people sort of taking our best clients away from us. So I guess keeping it in-house with your aggregator keeps you safe from that perspective. So that's probably one of the biggest value adds that you can have. That your client's in safe hands, and we're not going to market to them or try and steal them away.
Yeah, fantastic. And then that's the other thing, I think. So many of the brokers within our group do position themselves as being the primary point of contact for any finance needs for their clients. So this way, if you aren't necessarily offering the consumer opportunities yourself and you are referring them out to another broker, well, you're not going to run the risk of them being lost if you do refer it into COG moving forward. We've got another question that's come in from Ashley, which is, does the broker receive a copy of settlement documentation once completed?
It's a little bit, we're sort of, hands are sort of tied a little bit with regulations. So that's not usually something that's available. I mean, we can give you an idea of how much they has settled, but in terms of copies of documents, we can't really do that, unfortunately.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good point, Joel, that there is a lot more regulatory requirement around consumer lending, much more so than in the commercial space. So that's why the advantage of using our team is there, because we do understand what the requirements are, and we'll make sure that compliance is at the forefront of everything that we do when it comes to dealing with your client. It definitely puts your client in a better position, and it puts you as a broker in the better position because you don't open yourself up to any of the risks involved there. I'm sure if you have any general questions about the contract, we'd be more than happy to answer them for you and provide information, because you do have to have an understanding of what your client has gotten themselves into. But by the same token, we don't want to put you at risk by giving you documentation that you're not entitled to, and as a result, allowing you to be opened up to any risk down the line. I'll just see if there's any more questions coming in here. There's a question from Mark around how many people make up the consumer team at COG. Joel, I think it's a good opportunity for you to kind of talk about the full team in general and the broker services team.
Yeah, so in terms of, I guess, client facing, we've got Jonathan and Amelia who will pick up the phone and speak to your clients. But then behind that, we've got a team of 10 in total, which will actually process those loan applications for you. So that's where all the experience over many years of working in support type roles sort of come in. We've very comfortable with a whole range of different lender systems. So that's where the rest of the team will process those applications that Johnny and Amelia take.
Beautiful. And I think that's how we can meet those service kind of guidelines that Amelia had touched upon in her video. You've got two people who are comfortable having conversations with your clients. They're not leaving the office, so they are going to be able to make that first call within an hour, because we do want to make sure that we're taking advantage of those warm opportunities. But they're only able to do that because they've got the support of the team behind them who are able to lodge deals on their behalves as well and ensure that everything's happening in a quick process, because you as a referring broker want to ensure that everything's being handled in a timely manner, and that's what a big team like ours can provide to you. So great to hear about that, Joel, as well. I don't think we've got any more. Actually, no, there is one more question. I think this one's pertinent one from Paul. He's asked again about whether a broker can have any input to the amount of brokerage charged.
Yeah, look, I guess that there's the deals where maybe you're referring a friend or something like that, and you want to make sure that they're taken care of. I mean, we can have those sort of conversations. If you wanted to sort of minimize your comms on a certain deal or something like that. Yeah, we can. We're obviously happy to have those conversations up front and work out where we will stand on that.
Yeah, and speaking from experience, I know I've seen Jonathan and Amelia go back to brokers, advising them of what they believe the average brokerage would be on a transaction of a certain amount for a certain asset, or if it's a personal loan. They go back to the broker and give them an idea of what they typically see in those deals. The broker can then often turn around and say, you know what, I'd either like to take more or less on this transaction to make it work. So it is very much a two-way street. It's not just dictated to by COG. So that is something to keep in mind.
Yeah, we're always happy to have those conversations.
Beautiful. I reckon that's us just about done here, Joel, and that's half an hour on the dot. So I think you and I have done well there. Thank you again for sharing your expertise on the consumer side of things. I definitely think there's opportunities there for a lot of the brokers within our network who aren't already writing these transactions to start engaging with their own database, start getting additional income streams there, and start providing a more whole of shop sort of a whole of wallet approach to their clients. So thanks again, mate. To everyone on the webinar, appreciate appreciate you logging in, and I believe we'll have a lender webinar just the other side of Easter. So if we don't speak to you beforehand, have a lovely end of the month, of course, into Easter, and we'll catch you on the next webinar. Take care.